welcome to the Speak Projects. Today is a very, very special day. It is the end, the last day of the final battle, and we are here with some very impressive and exciting people. We're going to talk about this brand new network today, and we're going to talk about really this major transition from dark to light. And with me today is Ava Cowan, who is going to be the face of the United News Channel. Right? Ava, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me on. Wherever we're appearing, I'm glad to be there.
Outstanding, yeah. So, and as you may know, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this next young lady, is Kim Possible, very popular with us, Kimberly Ann Gogan. Kim, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
You know,
glad to be here after the 50-week try. We are winning. We're going to win. Yeah, we have won. And we will continue to win.
All right, that's a show. Okay, everybody, see you later. All right. So today we do have some questions for you, and we know a lot of people are going to be, wanting to chime in and ask. So, Kim, because I know we're going to focus on the network today, but I want to make sure we just kind of table this so people know up front. So, your position that you hold in the world of the finances and really overall, whatever you're comfortable saying, what would you define yourself as now at this point? Like, you've been managing the world finances behind the scene. I mean, how do you describe it?
A lot of different things behind the scenes. I have a lot of hats, and I would describe it as a guardian. And there were supposed to be many guardians, and some in different areas, and we were all supposed to work together. And it kind of didn't work out that way. One by one, everybody keeps falling off. Some we managed to hold on to by a thread, and others are gone. I would probably describe myself just as a guardian, not for wealth, but I would say for people.
I agree.
Because I often get asked.
Yeah, I often get asked this question. People ask me if I work for you. And I say, actually, no, I work for the people, because I know if I said I worked for you, you wouldn't be happy with that, right?
No, because I don't ever view, even when I had companies, because I've built companies and sold companies throughout my life before this period of time started. So I don't view anybody as working for me. I never have. Ava does not work for me. Ava works with me, and I'm thankful and happy that I get to work with you. So just like I work with many other people. And it's not about anybody being employed by another. We're over the hierarchy system. And it's time for people to realize that no matter who it is you meet on the street and what job they do, that everybody has a part to play in keeping everything running. And without all of those people, then the world doesn't work. So
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So, and Ava,
Yes.
so you are like a world-renowned bodybuilder and other things, right? And you and Kim work together, and you kind of jumped into this world through different channels, right? And now here you are. I mean, this is your big emergence, right? Like, lots of people already know who you are.
Yeah, this is really it. It's really the precipice of what I came here to do. So all the years of doing different things, those experiences build on each other, and then relationships are formed, and then you have a calling in your heart, and you know that things aren't right in the world. For me, I went all the way, so I have a very disciplined and determined personality, but this time it's about the people, and it's about how can I position myself to be of service to others. That's all I want to do.
All right, so that really brings us to what we're actually here for today, right? Because we've spent all this time in, all the news, everything out there is talking about, the horrible darkness of all these terrible things that are happening. And you know what? The problem we have, I think, across the board, and we talk about this at the Speak Project a lot, is nobody gives anybody anything to do. Nobody gives anybody ways to change it, right? So describe for us, ladies, in whatever order you like. Kim, I know this is your vision, and you were actually told to do this, which I feel like would have to be a pretty high source, because I don't know many people that tell you to do anything. So,
no, that's true.
Right? So explain what your vision is with this United News Channel.
United News Channel came about maybe a week to 2 weeks ago. And Ava and I have had discussions as far back as 2 years ago about doing a project like this together, but I guess it wasn't time yet. But with all the changes in the world and everything that's happening, obviously our mainstream media is controlled by all the wrong people. This COVID situation has really brought to light a lot of different things for us, right? Not only the people around the world, but also for us. You've got people posting YouTube videos about, well, I had it and I had a cough for a week and it went away and, you know, it was no different than a regular cold, and immediately those videos are taken down. You know, so we tried to go on Speak Project today. Obviously that didn't work out either. We had to pick another channel, and you're very smart. Thank you very much for doing that. But United News Channel, you know, even the alt media is changing. They're bringing back the old people that we all know are part of something or another that is not our friend, right? Or not the people's friend. So,
Right.
you know, everybody's fighting with each other on alt media right now. People can blog about whatever they want, whether it's true or not, it doesn't really make a difference. And United News Channel is the exact opposite. So it provides a platform, it's going to provide a platform for news for the people, by the people, news about real people. And then if we are reporting something happening that happens to be negative, you know, maybe like the COVID situation, you know, the show will be all about immune boosters, how you can boost your immune system, how you can wear a mask and, you know, not pass out in 100-degree weather, which some of us are going to be into pretty soon. You know, all of these types of things that are important to the average everyday person and that are solution-based. We'll also have interest stories like the project that you have in India right now. That's, you know, a great project, and how can people replicate that? So we already do have interest from a couple of different radio stations. Eventually we will work on a network. As you know, we put funding into the project. Our tech teams are working as fast as they can work to get this launched. But this project is all about everyone. So it's not segregated to like, oh, you know, I heard a story about Kim and Tank are starting an alt media channel. Well, this isn't even about alt media. This is actually going to be the media for real people. So anyone can go eventually, once we get all the platforms up and running, anyone can go and video something happen in their community, both positive and negative, right? You can make suggestions about things that are important to you, no matter where you are in the entire world. This is you reporting your news for other people. So it's not really, you know, Ava is going to be our interviewer. She's going to interview all kinds of people. So doctors and tax people and all kinds of people that will help you, the people, move forward, right? And if you have your own technologies, your own projects, you can also talk about those as well. Talk about things that are important to people. You know, we will have some history. We'll have a few several-part series about the history, real history of the world. That'll involve a lot of contributors. You know, we don't want to hear from the other side's perspective. We want to hear from the people's perspective. So if we're talking about the war in Afghanistan, then I want to have people from Afghanistan participate and tell us what it's really like. And I think that's what the world should be about. Not someone's agenda, not someone's, you know, what they prefer to stream and discuss and how horrible this is and everybody run and hide and make sure you're wearing your mask and all of these types of things. You know, I want to talk to real people. And it's not me that's actually going to be talking to them. It's actually going to be Ava that's talking to them. We will have some interviews with Ava and I, and probably also with yourself, Tank and Ava. And yeah, and anyone else in Create Change. I mean, your project is a great series to have, you know, once everything gets up and running.
You know, we will do that. You know, we'll put Create Change out there. We plan to broadcast 24/7 just to, as a, you know, have projects wherever they're working. I think is good for people to see, you know. But I think that is a great point, right? There's all these ideas. This is really just the foundation, though, right? I mean, because the reality is, you know, I've worked with you now for about 3 years, and I can tell everybody out there that Kim, you know, has given me always what I needed, and then let me grow with it and give me a lot of freedom with it for the most part. Like never really reined me in, only a couple times when I said the wrong thing. And I think, and I kind of suspect that's how this will run as well. That's pretty fair to say, right? So,
yeah, and one of the issues that I have is that, you know, you have your own sources for intel, for things that you report that have nothing to do with me, right?
sure.
And other people that do other shows that, you know, I talk to, you know, they have their own intel, they have their own sources for things, and they have their own way of doing things. You do your shows and other people do their shows. As for us, you know, this is a network for the people, by the people. And so for us, yes, I will have interviews on there. I will talk about different things that are going on. I will pass information also through to Ava, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to still talk to anybody else. But if it's my voice and I said it, then it comes clear. I'm not passing, you know, sometimes I'm so busy, I send you a text message, right? And it's not really entirely clear. And,
Right.
and, you know, it's not really fair to you, and it's not really fair to everybody else either. But, you know, I mean, I'm doing the best that I can to try to.
Look. So for people who don't know, because I do think that, you know, you're a mystery to a lot of people, you know, Kim has had to do a tremendous amount of work to bypass the incredible obstacles so that when it comes down to project funding, it's possible for people to even get funded, right? This is the big mystery a lot of people don't realize, right, Eva? Is that, you know, the system is not designed to empower people. It's really designed to have people in a servitude kind of way. So one of the first things Kim ever said to me was that she wanted us to be coming up. She was going down from the top, and the people needed to rise up from the bottom, right? And we've been working on that ever since. So,
Yeah.
and Kim is very consistent in reaching out to people. And one of the biggest challenges that I've seen is that people that try to work with you, they're often deceptive, right? So Ava is one of the people who survived, right? And made the cut, kind of, right?
I'm still here. I mean, I never give up. You know what I mean? Like,
Poor
oh,
Ava. Poor Ava.
So, Ava,
Why don't you tell them about some of your experiences when we were in the same place at the same time?
how about that? Does anyone feel that? Like, I don't even have to say it. I mean, this supersedes the answer to the question, because this is on a level that is so, you can't even imagine it in a sci-fi movie, in anything you've ever seen. You know, I'm like, I want to be a good person, and I'm looking for God, and I want to do good things on the planet, and I want to meet other people doing that too. And it sounds like a very simplified way of saying it, but that's really it. And then when Kim and I were together, I mean, I'm just happy to be alive. And even
Story about the UN armed vehicles and the Apache helicopter.
Okay, do you really want me to tell that story?
Oh yeah, tell the story.
Okay, so here it is. Here's some real people. I had to find a real solution, and here's some real talk. So I get taken into a mountain, and I'm in an area that I'm not from. And should I get into the mountains and everything, the whole? Because this is a little different.
Well, let's just call it a special place. And then around this area, there's a lot of BLM, Bureau of Land Management areas. And a lot of special things exist there.
There's a lot of special things. I'm just going to drop into it because let's just get to it. Because I went there and I don't have the ability to see anything other than this camera in front of me, my little laptop, and that. I don't have these super psychic abilities. However, when I was there, I was attacked and nobody was there. So this is kind of a little bit of a recurring thing I've experienced, but it woke me up really quick to the non-physical beings that are above, below, out there, here, everywhere. And that is something that people are going to have to step into the real history of what's going on here. So anyway, while I'm going back and forth with these beings that I don't see, but I can sure feel them, I felt like my heart was broken. It was like a full smackdown fight. And I kind of do those things, and energetically. So then I look up, and then there's this big helicopter, and we're trying to get out of there fast because we went into a wrong area. And we're like, run! And I'm like, I'm gonna die, dude. But actually, I didn't even know it at the time. I just looked
Where
up
do
and I'm
you
like,
run? You're in a desert, in a mountain.
I'm like that. I'm looking up and I
To the
went,
bar.
what? I was just like, whoa, and it was so close and it was not marked. And I'm like, you know, and I don't have the background of understanding this military type helicopter, but it was very intimidating. Is that the appropriate word? I was like, wow. So we had to get out of there fast. And then the UN trucks, they were coming our way towards us to grab, take. I just barely made it out of there with the other people I was with. So, and then it didn't even stop there. So I can like Kim if she wants to go further, but it was just wild.
Yeah. Do you remember me sending you when I first met you, Tank? I sent you the new Sheriff's Department vehicles. Those,
Yeah, the UN attack vehicles that had been basically painted over to look like and given to the sheriff's department, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Long and the short of it, this whole entire experience took place because of signatory powers and everything over the UN. Plus, this particular area is one of 7 in the entire world that exist like it. And how do I explain this? It's a place where all the planes meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's enormously resource rich. It is in the United States, and the U.S. does not need resources from anywhere else in the entire world. They only need to utilize what they have without someone else trying to control it.
Right.
And in this particular area, if you remember all the ancient stories, and I'll be very brief about this, but you basically have the gates to hell on one side and the gates to heaven on the other side. And this little area where Ava was sitting was right in the middle. And so,
Bill Gates' house is on one side, and then
oh no, it's worse.
Well, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. All right. Go
It's
ahead.
worse. Worse than that, and worse. But anyway, this particular area of the world is quite special for a number of different reasons. It's called a super site. It's a very high concentration of a lot of different things that don't exist in other places in the world. There are others like it on different continents. This one here is special. And it had to do with the fact that the UN was claiming that they owned this property because of the Paris Climate Control Treaty that Obama signed. And the Paris Climate Control Treaty has a clause deep into it that says you assign all your in-ground resources to the United Nations to fight poverty, right? So they were trying to, then there was this whole argument that ensued after everybody got back to a different location. And you know, they told us flat out that, you know, Susan Rice said she works for the real President of the United States, which is Obama, and they're enforcing the Paris Climate Control Treaty, and they have the right to do that. And so obviously we're all still here. They had an intention of not letting us all still be here. And 2 days later, Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Control Treaty. So maybe the trust didn't fund all of these things on that day, but we definitely protected resources of the American people. We also managed to stay alive in a very weird situation. It's not just me talking about it. Ava was there. Ava firsthand can tell you of all the things that she saw. You know, if everybody wasn't in a full-on panic, I'm sure that would have been a video for the ages to have YouTube take down. But just to give you one kind of an example on how Ava and I know each other, and it only got worse from there for a few months. It was terrible.
Right.
And I just couldn't let that happen to her anymore. So
those are pictures that I can provide for people to see. You know, it is actually against the law for the UN to have their attack vehicles on U.S. soil, correct?
Yes.
And you were talking about being all the way over in, you know, a desert in Arizona area or somewhere like that in the country, right?
We were in a very high mountain. We were probably at about between 14,000 feet and about 10,000 feet.
Okay.
That's
So,
where we were.
Yeah.
but definitely U.S. soil. It wasn't like they accidentally slipped across the border, right? Like
No,
this was
no, we
planned.
were. We couldn't have slipped across the border if we wanted to.
I wanted to
From
slip
this
across
place.
the border.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really important, especially because the efforts have been, they're kind of the 10 stages of genocide to dehumanize us and the people in general. And I think it's really important to humanize what's happening, right? Particularly with you, right? And I love having Ava around. I'm so glad that, that worked out and she's back in, our field here and working towards this goal, because it's very important to me, and I think to others, to know that Kim works with real people, right? Kim has been accused of being artificial intelligence, I think an android, cyborg, a clone. We hear all the time that Kim is secretly trying to take over the world. She is a scam artist, the world's worst scam artist, because what kind of a scam does someone run that doesn't yield any profit, right? I mean,
and allows you to get attacked by helicopters and UN vehicles. That is awesome. They didn't hand me a suitcase before they did it and said, hey, you need to run this way. We're going to video this, and here's your suitcase of cash. No, that didn't happen. No.
Right. So, and then I get guilt by association because, because I talk about Kim and represent Kim as much as I can. Whether or not she asks me to or not, I do. Right. So, but what happens, then I become a scam artist too, right? Because this is what happens. We attack things that we don't know. And then it's really the other side though, right? They're constantly running psychological operations, and they're doing this on a low scale as well as in the mainstream media, right? So this is normal. And so the United News Channel is really a solution to provide, and it's going to grow, but we're going to start, at a reasonable level, I guess, by putting things out that are always at least accurate, right? The real-time things that are happening.
And also,
that's part of the goal.
It shifts the focus, because so everyone in the whole world at this point has heard about fake news. So that's very mainstream. So what's the solution to that? So we are a part of that solution. And I personally don't watch TV because there's nothing to watch. And so if I don't want to be feeling terrible all day, I want to see things that are inspiring me to do more things where I live in my own hometown. And that's what I want to see, what other people are doing. And then I'm like, hey, if they're doing that, I can too. And here's how.
Right. And it can be done. This is a very important thing. Like we joke about this at the Speak Project all the time, that we've done a lot of things with very little resources, right? And a lot of what you see on the other side is they have a lot of resources and do very little. They just repeat the same things over and over and over again, right? So with that in mind, we're very big on solutions, right? And I love that idea. So things like, instead of just going to protest, potentially having people actually assemble and get organized. You're actually going to have shows, right, Kim, about different taxes and what the real law is, constitutional government, right? This is really about empowering people on every level. Now,
Well, and just to go back to a point that you made, remember something, okay? The alternative media was created by CIA agents, right? It was created by secret Space Force people. It was created by and they were leaking out exactly what they wanted people to know, just enough so that if anybody actually said, hey, I think I know about that, they could call you crazy, okay? So the idea behind it was to get the divergents, I call them the divergents, out talking and speaking, and to actually make them look crazy. Now think about what would actually happen if they did nothing against me, right? If they did nothing against the people that talked with me and the people that were out in the public. Think about it, okay? Look at the trouble they went through to prevent Ava from standing on BLM land in a vehicle that I was supposed to be in from the first moment, and I wasn't.
right.
But the point is that if all the people joined together, this is why it's called United News Channel. If all the people band together, and I'm not even asking you to follow me, I'm asking you to follow yourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm asking you to be your best self. to do the things you want to do. Realize trust funding, no trust funding, fighting bankers, and all this stuff, you know, other people are doing that. If you want to do that too, that's great. But in reality, it's all about people have to start moving forward because something is going down at a rapid rate right now. And it's up to you to bring something up because it's the way the universe works. If something falls down, something will take its place. Let it not be one of the factions left. Let it be you. That's all I'm asking is let it be you. And I really want to stress that again, let it be you. All the people, all the time. Who cares about laws from 1934 and whatever? How does that affect your life? Well, we have a gentleman that works with us that is, he is a tax, how do I say this?
Savant. He is.
Savant. He's brilliant, okay? And he can tell you all about resources, about the advocate office, and he can advocate for the people, and he can do a lot of different things that you wouldn't even think about doing, right? And we do need
expert in white collar crimes, and works right for.
He was a forensic accountant. He reminds me of the gentleman from the movie The Accountant. He's brilliant, okay, and has been in the field and is not afraid of anybody and all of these types of things. But he's here to help you guys. You know, he's willing to help. He's willing to do shows on the UNC channel and disperse information that everyone should know. Because people think they're powerless once they have an IRS lien. We all know the IRS is an NGO. We know it doesn't service the government. We know that 80% of the taxes go out the back door to Rothschild Bank in Switzerland. It happens continuously. We also know that it is becoming increasingly apparent that the Treasury Department is not our friend and the Fed is not our friend. You got two different factions running each one, and they're fighting against each other right now, which is why we ushered back in the post office, right, as an option for the people. Now, you are more than welcome to go to your local postmaster or even call the new postmaster general that's supposed to be appointed here shortly, I think on the 15th of June, and tell them you want a postal bank. You know, and if hundreds of thousands of people tell the post office that they want to reinstate the postal bank, they know the system is there. They're not permitted to use it on a retail level right now. So maybe there's a timing coming for that. But these are things, instead of protesting about things that need to change or that you want, why don't we go with something that's solution-based? You know?
Agreed. You know, I think it's really important for people to understand this. And this is one of the shows that yesterday we discussed that you're going to do. And for everybody out there, there's a couple people in Kim's network that I got to meet for the first time yesterday. And they mapped out this incredible spider web of terror that basically is like the Babylonian money magic system and how everything is created. And these are all the obstacles that have had to be overcome, or all the obstacles that had to be overcome so that basic project funding could happen. I mean, that's just basic stuff. It's not even that complicated, right?
That's
because
right.
They are so
and it's not even that, it's the whole network.
Yeah, I believe that. And it's massive and incredible. So now, Kim, I'm always, to be honest, concerned and want to make sure that people understand you're credible, right? Now, I think, Ava, you have a really good witness with this because you were really on the come in a different world, right? And this is all of a sudden you're kind of tapping into, a whole other psychedelic, kind of alternative dimension that I feel like your testimony really gives a lot of credibility to it, because why would anyone do that? It would just hurt their life.
Yeah, there's no upside to making things up. I mean, I need to live my life. I'm not just that's always it's very odd to hear that. So you're correct. I'm very cautious about what I step into. I did have a life before I moved into this. I really did. But once I went through an awakening and understood what's really going on, I didn't want to participate anymore. Well, this news channel is something I want to participate in, so much so that I was like, this is it. I knew something was coming. That was my intuition. And then it just started going click, 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 click. And Kim got the memo, and if she'd like to get into that, that's kind of an interesting question to find out about that, because, you know, it kind of matters.
Thank you. I'm trying to get that out of her. Don't bring it up.
Well, you know, it's like when you have a soul mission, you know it in your heart, okay? And I knew I had something to do, something like this, and I knew it was coming, and I waited 6 years. So I went outside of my normal life, of which I did have credibility, and I used to write, and I competed, and I was a spokesperson, and I ventured into a world where they wanted anything I do, they want to smear it. I'm like, you can't smear me. I'm not crazy. Like, I know what I see with my own eyes, and I definitely have seen Kim do all the things that she talks about. I've seen it. So,
well, thank you. With that being said, Kim, you did get instructions, and you know, we've been accused at Lawful America and the Speak Project by random naysayers of being Satanists. They're always trying to smear us one way or another. And
well, that's good news, you know, because the more people that smear you, that means the more truth that you're telling. Right?
Exactly.
And so they have to make you look crazy.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I'm going to be very careful with what I say, but they have to make you look crazy, because if they don't, then their whole alt media CIA run information is completely incorrect. And that's, I mean, remember, the entire internet was a CIA operation, was it not? Created by the Black Sun.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna help you a little bit with this. So, people get these kind of things all the time, and we never think twice about it. Someone says, "I was inspired by God to do something. I was told by God to do this." We embrace this in general, as long as it fits into the exact confines of the narrative that's being discussed. Right now, you know, Kim, a lot of people will, over the years, have kind of tried to jump on me to accuse you of something, right? And I'm like, you know, you really miss out with Kim's very connected energetically and spiritually, right? And really, she doesn't just do things ever without thinking of the damages and who's involved and acting in the best interest of the people, right? Now, I feel, you know, to kind of give you a way to talk about this, I feel that that's a charge that's been put on you. Could you talk about it from that standpoint?
You know, I've been a lot of places in the world. I've done a lot of different things. I do believe that people are more aware than they think they are. And, you know, sometimes it might feel like, oh, I think my son's sick, or, oh, I think I left my keys in the car, right? And you get up to go get the keys, or I shouldn't cross the street here. I should wait and cross 4 blocks down. And you call it intuition. But in reality, you know, if there is a protective source in this world, right, whether you call it God or angels or whatever it is that you believe, there is a source, right? Now,
sure.
if you take, okay, so people talk about, which no one bothers, by the way, about the what do you call it, the Ashkaic records?
Akashic records.
Akashic records, thank you. And I'm sorry, I just do it a whole nother way. I'm very, all right, so when they speak of this, right, and one of the first things that we did one exercise one time, remember? And I pointed out to you that it's everywhere. So if you have a source of light of the universe, right, which is the spark of energy that created the Big Bang, and how planets and suns and everything are created, and all created by the central source. Right. Call it God, whatever you feel comfortable with, because don't let anybody tell you can or you cannot. So, I mean, I sit here and I dance back and forth all the time. I've called it God since I was a little kid. That's works for me. So, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Okay, so opposite of that, you have ultimate darkness, right? The complete and total absence of light. And that's what the Black Sun is looking for. The opposite of light, a place where light cannot exist. Now, if light cannot exist, humans cannot exist. Most organic life cannot exist. So if you look out your window on a sunny day, that's the easiest time to see it. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you can see it at any time. If you really kind of focus in the air, don't stare at the sun, stare, you know, at the blue sky or the clouds or whatever, you'll see these little little droplets, they almost look like, but it's not water. So if you focus on them more intently, you'll see that they're little sparks of light. Now, you can see this with your own 2 eyeballs. I'm not making it up. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take a special person to do this. This is the light that exists in all organic life. It exists inside you. It's what powers you. Now, imagine each person walking the planet Earth, past, present, and future, or any other planet, or if such a, I mean, you can only assume such things exist, right? So, plants, animals, I mean, anything that is organic and living, this exists inside you. It exists in your brain. It exists everywhere, right? So now, if you go back to source, the ultimate source, or God, okay, that is like the central mainframe on a network computer, okay? Because a piece of this exists in you, in all of us, in the sky, in the trees, in the plants. It exists in everything. So technically, if you're on that network, you can connect to any other computer on that network directly through source. So you can call it the whatever records you want, but everything is recorded all the time in the central location, right? Which is source, God, the creator. The creator created everything and is a part of everything. They call it the Father because technically that's true, right? So the ultimate Father, or a mother, or mother father, but you know, that exists within you. Your mother and father's DNA exists within you, but that's DNA. That's on a physical.
A little bit of lock. What happened?
Well, we expected that because we got her live. It doesn't surprise me that they
Let me unlock the meeting just so we can get her back.
Oh yeah, do that.
No, it doesn't show
Hey,
locks.
Ava,
Yes.
could you just text Kim too and just let her know she got bumped? She might not even realize.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
Oh, I
there's
see her now. Okay.
Yay. The
Okay.
mute.
I said that it's not super special and anybody can do this. So I'm basically teaching you how to do this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh wait, step back. We can't. I'm sorry. We can't leave that hanging there. Your last 2 minutes, where you explained what anyone could do, just got cut. So I need you to step back. I can prep it for you. So where you left off for us, you were describing the light source energy, how it's in all of us, right? These quantum particles that exist that are source energy, they universally connect all of us, and how
Yes.
just like a mainframe to a computer, we can all access and connect them, similar to the Akashic records. And then,
Well, that's what
you got cut off.
that's what somebody labeled it, okay?
But, right, I got that. I'm just using the terms.
And you can label it whatever works for you. It doesn't matter, but it's not special for special people. It's for everyone,
Right.
okay? I want to be real clear about that. The reason why they created in the alt media network, oh, if you could access this, then you would know all the secrets to the universe, right? But you can do it from your chair. You can do it from your house. I prefer to be outside personally, but that's just me. But anybody can connect directly. And
Yeah.
you can have a conversation. You can go into what you call the mainframe, right? Just imagine it this way. The little sparkles you can see outside your window when you're outside, you can eventually start seeing them inside. Depending on, the more you tune yourself in, the more you can see it. All the information of the entire universe exists in that speck. It'll take you directly to source. Source lives in you. I'm not saying every human on the planet is a god. I'm just saying that you can connect directly to it anytime you want to.
Yeah.
So if you want to know the answers to questions, the only thing I would suggest is that you make sure that that's what you're doing. Like consciously make an effort to focus on that, become that network computer on the mainframe, and then go into the mainframe and source all the information you want. You don't have to talk to me, you don't have to talk to anybody, but that's for you. It's not for me, that's for me also, right? So I do this every day, okay? I try to do this every single day because in my opinion, we're all connected and everything I do affects the person living next to me and the person on the bus over there and the person, down the street. So I find it my own personal responsibility, regardless of any trusts and guardian positions or anything else, my personal responsibility to all of you is to make sure that I'm doing what's best for all of you, right?
Yes.
And you should do the same thing, you know, with just, you know, you and your family, you and your neighbors, you know, and other people. That's why we have committed on this channel. I don't care how many people attack us. I don't care how many times we're bumped off YouTube. I don't really care what they do to us. I really don't, because there's another channel, there's another medium, there's another way. We'll pop back up on the internet. I really don't care. The other thing is anybody who attacks us we will thank, because I'm thanking them because they're so upset that we're telling the truth. I want them to understand that it's all about the energy you put out there. And if they want to put that out there for their own selves and live in that world, that's fine. But I'm not taking that on. I have way too many things, you know, on many different levels that I do on the daily. And, you know, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to sit there and have a 4-hour-long conversation with someone about how, you know, I'm a scam, or how I'm this, or this guy said that and this guy said that. I don't care. I laugh it off. That upsets some people because I'm not going to make a direct response, but I'm going to laugh it off. I don't care. Yep. You know, that's their world they want to live in. They want to continue that negative fear thing that they got going on, but we're not living in that world anymore. That world has passed. This is our time. What we choose to do with it, our time, you know, 24 hours in a day, a few of those are asleep, I'm sure, I hope, you know, most of the time.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Preach. You know, Kim, people don't know this side of you up here because there's no one is really telling your story like you do, right? You said something to me when we first started talking that I literally think about every single day. And I practice that every single day, exactly what she's talking about. I can tell you that in a very, very difficult time, it is these things, just talking about connecting with the source energy has given me guidance along the way as I've learned, you know, kind of how to connect to these things, right? And to whatever small level that is. But you told me this. You said that I was complaining about, you know, wanting to take these people out, take them down, I said. And you said it's not about taking them down. It's about raising us up, right?
It's just shifting.
You know,
yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's just like, it's just that, you know, it's this thing that we can get into as people. And it's almost, you can call it a program, a habit. So if there's just a slight pivot, so your intention is still the same, but you just shift the focus. So instead of this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, it's like when you shut all that out and you become the creator of the new earth that you came here to be, then all that time, energy, focused attention shifts, and then that's how you create it in our reality. So Kim was talking about how she takes personal responsibility each day because it has nothing to do with all these other things. She understands how it works here. So she laughs because when the people say, you know, come after you, you're like, you just did that to yourself. So that's the oneness. That is consciousness divided infinitely. There is no separation. So when you really understand that, yes, we have individuated experiences, but like, I just want to be a good person and I want to help other people. And that is what changes the whole planet. Literally.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we have some questions that I'm going to throw at you here. Okay.
Okay.
And you feel free to give them as much attention or not. So one of the questions that came up is there anyone in the alternative media that you trust? I mean, or that you think is close to the mark at least?
You know, I'd say every person has bits and pieces of information. Look for the ones that are attacked the most. So, I mean, that's really what I can tell you. I don't really watch a lot of alt media stuff. You know, I did meet Thomas a few years back, you know, and then he started his own show and whatnot. But this is not a competitor in the alt media in any way. Any alt media person with something to say that's truth and positive and has has something that's going to help people is more than welcome on the channel, or to share links or whatever it is you want to do, because it's not about me, it's about you. I just won't, if there's, you know, like some of the real, like I disagree with the fact that people should have to pay $2,500 a ticket to get someone's version of the truth. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair that you've disappeared from the alt media for many years and now you're all back talking again. And who are you working for? If we know who created alt media originally, then you know who you're working for, and then that kind of should give you an idea. But again, you know, that connection to source is so important when discerning information, you know?
Yeah.
And you really have to figure out what resonates with you, what feels bad. If it doesn't feel good to you, then, you know, don't listen to it or don't watch it, because it's not meant for your highest and best good. It might be meant for somebody else's, but it's not for yours.
So, Kim and Ava, I know, I'm sure you both understand this. Now, you talked about this a long time ago, and I was like, I wanted to learn another language. And you talked about just aligning your frequency, watching like the Spanish channel, and then literally you would just pick up the rhythm of it that way, right? Because that's in that same world, right? Of kind of how ways to use it. Also as a lie detector with people, right? It's where you can just kind of align with their frequency and tell, you know, when they're not telling the truth, right?
Yep.
Could you explain that for people? I mean, a little bit between the two of you. I feel like somewhere you can.
Hey, Ava, go ahead. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
No,
or?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, lucky me. Okay, so everything runs on frequency. Okay, the entire planet Earth, no matter how big or how small, runs on frequency. You smell danger coming because it's a frequency. It has a lower frequency than your frequency. It's not matching up, and you know it's not meant for your highest and best good, whatever's coming in this direction. Okay, it's a defense mechanism. You feel your children's pain from time to time, right?
Sure.
You sense something good happening. So as it relates to languages, okay, languages are all a frequency. Even if you're speaking the same language, it still emits a frequency. If you're, you know, swearing and yelling and screaming, you're emitting a frequency to the person on the other side, who is then going to start to feel bad, right? Unless you're shielding yourself and you're blocking that from happening to you. But that's what actually happens. So now, make no mistake, there are many projects and programs within agencies and unseen agencies worldwide that completely and totally understand this. So why do you think people come out and start going, that's a scam, that's fake, that's this, that's that? And why do you think I laugh? You know, okay, but you're not saying anything. What did I do? I didn't collect money from people. I didn't do anything.
Right.
You know? So what did I do? What am I scamming? What's the scam? They can't answer you. There'll be no answer. At the end of the day, there'll be no answer because there isn't anything. They just want to admit that frequency. Now, if you understand that language is also a frequency, right? You can actually tune into somebody else's head, basically, and translate the language for yourself. Yeah. That's how telepathic communication is. That's exactly what you do. You're just tuning into their brain frequency, and you're having a conversation back and forth based on the change in their brain frequency at the same exact time. But you do that anyway. When you help someone and you love someone, you can look into someone's eyes and eventually know what they're thinking, right?
Sure.
You just don't realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
You may not get the entire word pattern, but you know when someone's looking at you in a positive way or a negative way. But it's no different than learning a language. So if you're watching television, you know, you can translate any language anywhere using the same technique, just refined. But it all goes back to that same network computer, which is source. So it's not a computer. It is not a computer. For the AI people out there, I'm human. See, look, you know, I'm not an AI. This is not, I joke about that because it's the best way I can help people visualize what it is I'm trying to say.
we're going to laugh and make fun of all this stuff, and it's okay. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, we have no one to apologize for it. The debacle and the misconception and the lies that are out there, that's not coming from us. So you don't have to apologize for anything, as far as I'm concerned. Now, Ava, you want to add to that at all? Because I know you're very humble, you know, but I know you're also pretty gifted too.
Ian, well, thank you. I'm a person that has just done this journey on my own in terms of, I guess I have said, gosh, I don't really have these extrasensory capabilities, but the truth is I do. And you know, about the language I was thinking about when you guys were speaking about it, the truth is if you believe you can learn a new language, then you can. So that was another inversion that all of us were taught. It's a thought structure. It's a knowing. It's a, I'm going to learn Spanish. I can, and it's easy. So it's whatever you assign to learning the language. Yes, it's a frequency, and then you know the layers behind it are I can learn it. So the telepathic communication, I'm glad I'm not totally in tune with that, because I don't know if I want to hear what you know, because if people are not vibrating, if they're not in doing, okay, so we talked about a shift in perception or focus. So if other people that you're around aren't doing that too, it's the like sending me videos and let's go. I'm like, I want to focus on all the things I want to happen in the world. I've seen enough of the negativity. I don't care what people say about Kim. I'm here with you guys right now in this moment, and we're about to do something that is unprecedented. Everyone wants real news. We're going to bring it. And I'm excited about that. And yeah, we can laugh. We feel excited, and we're moving forward. That's what's happening.
I like that, you know, and I do think very much it's definitely time to spend less energy talking about what they've done to us, and really talk about what we're doing now in this really what I consider to be a new creative age, right? We get to define what the world's going to be, and we get to define that as a collective, right? Now, I'm not worried about going to recruit people and beg them to come along. I figure people will naturally just stand up and start to create. And everybody else, eventually, it'll just be the way things are. It'll just be standard, and we'll all just accept it as normal. So I'm excited that we have that opportunity. And Kim, you know, to be honest, I know there's not many people in the world who realize how much you've done to make that happen. So from all of them who know and all of them who don't, not to embarrass you, well, actually, yes, to embarrass you publicly, we do appreciate it. You know, I know a lot of people don't, but we definitely do. And thank you for staying the course, because all of us has benefited dramatically from that. And to be quite honest, you know, it's my honor to be able to stand up for you on this. And I'm so excited with what you're doing with this United News channel, and I appreciate you letting me assist in any way I can. There's some other questions. I know that somebody's asking us about the forensic accountant, like whose name is that? I don't think that's necessary to talk about yet until it breaks, unless you wanted to bring out his name. There's some other questions about, you know, just random things about, you know, accessing the Akashic records, and are the Akashic records corrupted, and is karma corrupted? You know, it doesn't sound like they're corruptible based on the way you described it, right?
Well, you know, I will say one thing I've noticed with all these changes that have been happening, especially since the end of last year, major changes, you'll start to, allergies. I apologize before I got on this call, just letting everybody know I had allergies today. I've been, they're terrible. But you can't corrupt if you're connected to the right place. What you can corrupt, and I have seen this happen in front of my face, is if you're listening to somebody else that says that somebody else is connecting to something else, you don't know what that source is, right? You really don't know. I mean, you could be on the other side and something could be playing a joke on you. This is the voice of God, boom, kill all these people, you know? And you know it's not right, right? But when you can see it in front of your face, focus on it with your own eyes, that is where you're going to go. That's where your soul is going to go. Don't ask other people to channel it or write about it on the internet, or ask yourself, because that's the only true information that you'll ever get. Is it corrupted? Well, there's plenty of information in there. There's plenty of, you know, let's just take humans, right? There's almost 8 billion people walking on the planet every single day. 5% of them are outright evil. They're never going to change. They'll always be horrible people. They do bad things and they're happy about it. 5% are outright saintly, and they, get up every day and wouldn't, push the flies out the door, and they would never do anything to hurt anybody. And then everybody else, it's like a wave, right? It flows in both directions. On any given day, you could wake up and everything goes wrong and you're really angry that day, or, that's being human. You try to love your family and your spouses, and your kids will drive you crazy sometimes. I mean, that's just what happens, right? But
Sure.
you smile at them anyway because you love them so much. You may not like what they did that day, but it changes your whole day, right? So then that's where the ebb and flow comes in. So most people feel more comfortable on the good end of the spectrum than they do on the other end of the spectrum. And that's why we have things like PTSD and all kinds of things that happen when people are put into situations that, people aren't naturally driven towards.
Yeah. So I really want to get you to do this every week. I want you to sit down and talk with people for an hour, just an hour. Okay. I want you to take the time and talk to people every week, and I'm going to put you on the spot every single week to try to make you do it. I think people need to hear from you and know that you're real. We don't have to make it about you, which I know you're not a big fan of, but it's important. It's important that people know, look, there is someone out there who is in the highest levels of a hierarchy, the global hierarchy, that is advocating for the people. And I think it's important to hear, and she's a real person. She's not a clone. She's not an android. She's, she's got puffy eyes right now that she's trying to hide.
I got allergies that I'm trying to hide from you people.
Right? No, but that's a real person that people can relate to, right? So I know there's a lot of questions out there, but this is kind of my rule with everything we do. My one rule is I don't want to give people a whole lot of things they'll never remember. I want to give them one thing they'll never forget. So with that in mind, from the two of you, before you go today, what is one thing you want to make sure people have on their mind today in this present moment, in this incredible, however you want to about it? What's the one thing you want people to take away today?
Empower yourself. Move everything, all energy that you have into your heart. And if you can just live there and go out into the world and be that person, you've succeeded and you won. You win. If each one of us could just live from the heart, give from the heart, exist there, I think that's the game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I got you on the spot.
If I could leave everyone today with one thing that I want people to actually really focus on. This is our time and this is our world. Okay? It's not my world, it's our world. And I want you to imagine the perfect world, as perfect as you could possibly imagine, that you would want to live in. And how do we create that world together? Right? And so your version of a perfect world might be different than somebody else's perfect world, but how can we all put them all together and kind of create something that's perfect for us? It may never be perfect because people aren't perfect. Animals aren't perfect. Trees aren't perfect, but we're all perfect in our own way, and we're all special in our own way. Listen to yourself, not other people. And that's what I would want to leave everybody with today.
There you have it, people. So this has been the Speak Project. We've been talking here with Ava Cowan and Kimberly Ann Gogan, who I affectionately refer to as Kim Possible. And
you gave me that name. You gave that name to me. I did not create it myself. For all the people that want to know.
Listen, for the record, though, talking to Kim the first time is scary, right? Because she's real quiet and she'll pause big and she's telling you really heavy stuff. And I've watched men fall, right? Now, I don't like that feeling, so I have to joke. So I had to give her a nickname, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have been comfortable. Once I gave her Kim Possible, I felt much better about everything. And she's proven to be just that. So with that in mind, everybody out there, please take those things to heart. As Ava said, live from your heart, and you will, you've already won just by living from the heart. And as Kim said, please take the time to imagine the world your dream world, and how you can have that and bring it into existence as the collective. And I am very certain, as we talk about this all the time, that is powerful enough to change the whole world. And all that starts right now, today, in this moment with you. So thank you so much, ladies. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We'll speak soon.